In a single afternoon, one of the most stable giants in tech history saw its market value crater by 13.2%. This wasn't because of a scandal or a failed product launch. It was because an AI finally learned to speak a language from the 1950s. That language is COBOL, and the tool that shook the market is Anthropic's Claude Code. It's a specialized interface designed to do what humans have feared for decades: dive into the ancient, messy heart of global banking. Investors realize that the billions IBM makes from legacy consulting might be at risk. If an AI can migrate a mainframe in weeks instead of years, the entire business model of enterprise tech just changed forever. To understand the panic, you have to understand the scale. COBOL isn't just old code, it's the invisible glue holding the world together. Every time you swipe a credit card or check your balance, a 50-year-old mainframe is likely doing the math. There are over 220 billion lines of COBOL currently in use. That is enough code to reach the moon and back several times, and it handles roughly $3 trillion in daily commerce. It is the definition of too big to fail. But there's a problem. The people who wrote this code are retiring. We are running out of humans who actually understand how the global economy's engine works. And that's where Claude Code steps in. Claude Code isn't just another chatbot. It's a tool that operates directly within the terminal, capable of reading millions of lines of code across thousands of files simultaneously. It sees the patterns that humans miss. Anthropic specifically optimized Claude's latest models to handle the long context requirements of legacy systems. When you're dealing with a banking system built over 5 decades, you need an AI that doesn't forget the first page by the time it reaches the last. The result is a capability that feels like magic, the ability to ask a question about a 40-year-old bug and get an answer in seconds. But as any engineer will tell you, magic in banking is a very dangerous thing. When the news hit that Claude Code was being used for large-scale COBOL modernization, the market reaction was swift. IBM stock didn't just dip, it suffered its worst day in years. The narrative was clear: the AI era of consulting has arrived. For decades, IBM has been the safe choice for digital transformation. They have the armies of consultants needed to manually rewrite these systems. But if Claude can do the heavy lifting, that army starts to look very expensive. This isn't just about one company, though. It's about a fundamental shift in how we maintain the world's most critical systems. We're moving from human-led maintenance to AI-led evolution. But here is the fascinating part. Claude Code isn't just translating code, it's translating logic. It's taking the business rules of the 1970s and explaining them to the engineers of today. And that is where the real value and the real risk lies. If the AI gets the logic wrong by even a fraction of a percent, the consequences for the global financial system could be cataclysmic. We're talking about lost transactions, frozen accounts, and systemic instability. So is Claude Code the savior of our aging infrastructure, or a new point of failure we don't yet understand? To find out, we have to look at how this machine actually thinks. Modernizing COBOL isn't like translating Spanish to English. It's more like translating an ancient scroll into a 3D blueprint. COBOL is procedural, rigid, and deeply tied to the hardware it runs on. Claude Code uses a technique called chain of thought reasoning to map out these dependencies. It doesn't just look at a line of code. It traces where that data came from and where it's going across a 50-year-old architecture. This is the genius part. By understanding the intent behind the code, Claude can suggest modern equivalents in Java or Python that maintain the exact same financial guarantees. It's like a master historian who can also write code.
But here's the challenge. Mainframes use EBCDC encoding, while modern systems use ASCII or UTF-8. They handle decimals differently. They handle memory differently. If you miss one detail, you don't just get a bug, you get a financial disaster. Claude Code addresses this by running automated tests in real time. It doesn't just write the code, it spins up a virtual environment, runs the old code and the new code side by side, and compares the results down to the last penny. This dual-run verification is the only reason banks are even considering this. They need to see that the AI-generated code produces the exact same output as the battle-tested mainframe logic.
The risk of hallucination is the biggest hurdle. In a creative writing task, an AI making something up is fine. In a banking migration, an AI hallucinating a decimal point move could bankrupt a company. Skeptics argue that we are trading one black box for another. We're moving from a system we don't understand because it's too old to a system we don't understand because it was written by an AI.
However, Anthropic has built-in explainability features. Claude Code can provide a step-by-step justification for every change it makes, allowing human auditors to verify the logic before it ever goes live.
The 13.2% drop in IBM stock wasn't just a reaction to the technology, it was a reaction to the speed. Traditionally, a mainframe migration takes 5 to 10 years and costs hundreds of millions of dollars. Claude Code is promising to cut that time by 70 or 80%. In the eyes of Wall Street, that doesn't just mean faster projects. It means the moat around legacy consulting is being drained in real time. But speed is a double-edged sword. If you move too fast and break the core ledger of a global bank, there is no undo button. This is the ultimate highwire act of the AI era. To mitigate this, developers are using a human-in-the-loop model. Claude Code acts as the navigator, finding the path through the ancient code, but a human senior architect still has their hand on the steering wheel. This hybrid approach is where the real magic happens. It combines the superhuman speed and memory of the AI with the nuanced judgment and gut feeling of a veteran developer. Now we have to ask, if we successfully migrate all this code, what happens to the world it left behind? And what happens when the next ticking time bomb appears? The ticking time bomb of global finance isn't a secret, it's a known debt. We've built the modern world on a foundation of 50-year-old logic that almost nobody alive fully understands. It's a miracle it works as well as it does. Every year, the cost of maintaining these systems goes up as the pool of COBOL experts shrinks. We are approaching a point of no return, where the cost of maintenance exceeds the cost of a total, risky rewrite. Claude Code represents the first real exit ramp from this crisis. It's the first time we've had a tool capable of handling the sheer complexity of a global bank's spaghetti code without losing its mind. But is AI the solution or just a new way to fail? If we use AI to rewrite our systems, we are essentially trusting a machine to understand the spirit of our financial laws. That is a massive leap of faith. Some experts fear that we are creating digital archaeology, systems so complex and AI-generated that no human will ever be able to debug them if something goes wrong. We might be trading a human-made maze for an AI-made one. The counter-argument is that we have no choice. The alternative is to wait for the systems to fail on their own, which would be a global economic catastrophe. In this view, AI isn't the perfect solution. It's the only one left. This brings us back to IBM. The 13.2% drop in their stock is a signal that the market believes the consulting era is ending and the automation era is beginning. The value is shifting from having the people to having the model. IBM knows this, which is why they are racing to integrate their own AI, Watson X, into their mainframe services. It's a battle for the soul of the enterprise. Who do you trust to move your billions, the old giant or the new challenger? The winner of this battle will likely control the digital infrastructure of the 21st century. It's not just about code, it's about who owns the operating system of the global economy. As we move forward, the ticking time bomb might finally be diffused, but we must be careful not to replace it with a new kind of risk, one that moves at the speed of light and operates in ways we can't always predict. The real test will come during the first major AI-led migration of a Tier 1 global bank. When that happens, the entire world will be watching the ledger. If it works, it will be the greatest engineering feat of our time. If it fails, it will be a lesson in the limits of technology. But for now, the momentum is with the machines, and the machines have just learned to read the past. Claude Code is more than a tool. It's a bridge between two eras of humanity, one where we built with iron and logic, and one where we build with light and probability. The crossing has begun. Whether this leads to a more stable financial world or a more chaotic one is up to the engineers, the auditors, and the choices we make today. One thing is certain, the mainframe will never be the same. The era of the unkillable COBOL system is over. The era of the AI architect has just begun, and the stakes couldn't be higher.